Hey, it's Vincent here from Vincent Games. I wanted to do this video because the spoilers I've been seeing for Modern Masters 2017 have been crazy. You may have seen a couple of them out already, but more have appeared today and they are just as exciting. First of all, Wizards have also spoiled what the draft mechanics are going to be, or rather what the themes are of the colour pairs that you should be looking to draft within the set. So white and blue is going to be like blinking lots of creatures and getting card advantage that way, I imagine. And then you have blue-black control, traditional kind of counter magic and instant speed effects. And then there's red and black, which is aggressive unearthed creatures. And then red and green, which is going to be making lots of tokens, and they're making those tokens bigger and attacking for big amounts of damage. And then you have green and white, which is going to see a return of populate mechanic, which was in the Return to Ravnica block, which is really cool to know. It's nice to have an awareness of these kind of themes so that you could appreciate why certain cards are in there. What I mean is there's always going to be these cards that you look at and think, why on earth was this even printed here? But you have to remember that not only is this set designed to reprint a lot of modern cards, but it's also a draft set in and of itself. But that's enough about that. Let's get on to some spoilers. So first of all, the stuff you've probably already seen, and that is the Guildgate lands. So the 10 dual coloured lands from the Ravnica block. This probably means we'll see Mage's End as well. I mean, that's just speculation, you may not, but it would make sense with all 10 guild gates being in the set, which leads us nicely onto the Shards of Alara tri-lands that they're reprinting. So Arcane Sanctum, Crumbling Necropolis, Savage Lands, Seaside Citadel, and Jungle Shrine. These are great little inclusions to help you splash colours in Limited. It's also nice to reprint lands like this for things like Commander and what have you. But the most exciting lands that are going to be printed in Modern Masters are none other than the Zendikar fetch lands. Oh yes, finally we are seeing the reprint of Zendikar fetches, and I am stoked for these. These lands have needed to be reprinted for such a long time now. It was great we got the Khans fetches to really help newer players get into Modern, but the ridiculous prices of Zendikar fetches I think has been a barrier for a lot of people. I mean, yeah, okay, you can just buy the Khans fetches for a lot cheaper, and for a lot of decks that will sort you out fine. For example, Naya Burn, if you wanted to play a Naya Burn deck, then you can get Wooded Foothills. You don't need the Herod Maces necessarily, because you could also play the red-black fetch land as well to kind of plug that gap. But my point still stands that if you really wanted these fetch lands in your deck, then you really had to spend quite a lot of money. And hopefully this reprint will see a significant reduction in the prices overall, a nice leveling of the cards overall, which is great for the players. And the printing of these in the set themselves is not only great for the players, but it's going to be great for local gaming stores, traders, the secondary market as a whole, because people are going to want to buy this product because it's got fetch lands in. So all round, this is fantastic. If you are on the fence about buying Modern Masters to draft with your friends, then I would certainly consider getting it now, because at the end of the day, drafting these sets is great fun, and now you have the potential to get really decent cards in the form of these fetch lands from the boosters, which is fantastic. But yes, there will be more than just lands printed in Modern Masters 2017. If you haven't been living under a rock for the last few days, you would have seen some of the product information that Wizards has put out, spoiling Domri Raid, Grizzlebrand, and Stoic Angel on the front of these blue-looking packs. And why am I making the point of the pack colour? Well, on these packs, on the box art for Modern Masters, we also had a mage who fitted the blue background really quite well. It turns out to be none other than Snapcaster Mage. Now you may be thinking, well, it was announced it was going to focus on Innistrad, so I'm not surprised about Snapcaster Mage, but even so, I still can't help but get excited about the fact they're reprinting Snapcaster Mage. It's such a powerhouse, and it's really going to benefit from a reprint. The only bad thing is, it does look like it's getting reprinted at Mythic, which is a bit of a shame. I don't know how I feel about it taking up a Mythic slot. I mean, it's a great card, a really powerful card, and in terms of power level, yeah, okay, it probably is in line with where Wizards imagine a Mythic card's power level to be, but in terms of how a Mythic feels, I think they could have saved the Mythic slot for something else. Snapcaster Mage would have been fine as rare. Moving on to some gold cards next, and we have some really cool cards that are really, for me, are quite nostalgic. One of the earliest sets I drafted was Shards of Alara block. And so seeing cards like Rock's Warmonk, Tower Gargoyle, Sedraxis Spectre, Sprouting Thrinax, and Willy Thoktar is really sweet. They're great cards in Limited. Any one of those creatures on curve is brutal. A nightmare in draft. And I'm really pleased to see them because it's going to be a great bit of nostalgia seeing these guys and drafting with them. Other arguably more limited cards in the format are in the form of Goblin Assault, Harmonize, Vanish into Memory, and Deadeye Navigator. Deadeye Navigator being the only rare there. Goblin Assault downshifted from rare to uncommon, and it was a rare in Shards of Alara block when it was released. And all these cards are great for the colours that they want to be in. Again, Deadeye Navigator fitting in with the blue-white blink, Goblin Assault fitting in with the token theme. And we also have Molten Rain, which is an interesting little inclusion. It sees a small amount of modern play, and it's nice that Wizards isn't completely ignoring land destruction, even if obviously nowadays land destruction is not what Wizards want to be doing. It's nice to have a little bit of it there, because sometimes it's a nice tool to have against the decks where you really want it, in both limited and constructed. So I'm really pleased to see Molten Rain. Now we also see the return of something that some people may not consider that exciting just because of the misery associated with this mechanic, and that is Miracle, Temporal Mastery, and Bonfire of the Damned. It may well be we see Entreat the Angels as well, and Miracle for a lot of players is a bit of a feel bad. Anyone who plays Legacy is going to be aware of the Miracles deck, where you manipulate the top of your library to both lock your opponent out of the game and cast Entreat the Angels. And Bonfire of the Damned is responsible for similar bad feeling. I mean, these cards are great, these cards are fun, but they also create slightly unfun moments where you're in a game and your opponent miracles a Bonfire of the Damned and completely destroys you through no other reason than that card was on top of their deck. But then that's another reason they're mythic. I mean, in draft, you're not going to see that happen very often because of the fact that they're mythic, which is definitely a good thing. I'm not going to say these are my favourite cards, but it's certainly interesting to see them reprinted in this set. And another card that is certainly not my favourite card is Thragtusk. Nothing destroys friendships like Thragtusk. I can already imagine the limited games where someone blinks a Thragtusk and their opponent just wants to shoot themselves. And that being said, the card is great. The card, I mean, it is value. That card is value town all the way. I would not be ashamed to first pick that card. He is pretty awesome. And for Constructed, it's a great little reprint. Other reprints that are there for the Commander crowd are Ranger of Eos, Zer the Enchanter, and Venser Shaper Servant. The artwork on the new Venser is great. Now, I know people are going to be attached to the old artwork of Venser, which I totally get that. But I'm really excited to try and get the new Venser. As I say, I really like the artwork on that card, and it might just encourage me to start a new Commander deck. Other staples that are being reprinted are Path to Exile, Might of Old Crowser, and Terminate. Each one of those cards are great. The more cards like this that are out there that people can get a hold of is fantastic for Modern. Path to Exile is still stupidly expensive, and given how many times that card's been reprinted, I don't get it. And the same goes for Inquisition of Kozilek, which I forgot to mention. That's getting a reprint as well. And again, these cards, well, I get why they're expensive. They're powerful. They're not as readily available as standard cards. A lot of versions require you to have bought some other kind of product. So I understand that. But it's still really important that more of these cards are going to be out there for people to have access to. On to the last few spoilers now, and we have Grafdigger's Cage. It's not as exciting as the other cards we've seen, but it's a fantastic sideboard staple for Modern, which is great. Also spoiled is Restoration Angel, and this is a card that I'm pretty glad they haven't changed the artwork on. This is a great reprint. Given what we know about how blue-white is going to be drafted, Restoration Angel is going to be amazing in those colours. And more importantly, it's a fantastic reprint for Modern. It's been a staple in the format for a long time, and it's a great card. We also have Primal Command, which I've seen played in a handful of the big sort of green decks that are floating around Modern. Seeing this card spoiled is fantastic because it's likely the other command cards will be printed as well. So Austere Command, Incendiary Command, and Profane Command. But more importantly, Cryptic Command. This is something I personally didn't see coming. I'm so excited for Cryptic Command to get a reprint. That being said, it hasn't been officially spoiled yet, but I would be very, very surprised if that is not one of the cards we see getting spoiled. Next, we have Goblin Guide. That's right, Goblin Guide. This card has been overpriced, quite frankly, for such a long time, and it is great to see it finally get reprinted. You may not like the artwork. I personally prefer the old artwork, but this guy does look pretty cool, and certainly not someone you would trust to lead you anywhere. Goblin Guide is a solid addition to Modern Masters, and another card that just makes you want to tear open packs. Lastly, we have what is without doubt my favourite card so far spoiled from the set. This card has been neglected for way too long. It didn't get printed in Modern Masters 1, it didn't get printed in Modern Masters 2, it didn't get printed in From the Vault Annihilations, and for the life of me, I cannot understand why. That's right, Damnation. I have wanted this card to be reprinted for so long, and I cannot believe I'm going to have the chance to potentially open Damnation. It's certainly not the most played card in Modern, but for me, it's one of the most exciting cards in this set for sure. I'll be so chuffed if I open one of these. I'll be made up if I open one of these in a draft or a box or whatever. So there you have it. They're all the spoilers that are currently floating around for Modern Masters 2017. And when I think about the list so far, the list is pretty insane. Grizzlebrand, Snapcaster Mage, Damnation, Goblin Guide, Zendikar Fetchlands, Restoration Angel, Thragtusk, Cryptic Command. I cannot think of what I would be happier with. There are so many good cards that they could print in this set, and so far I am not disappointed. Yes, there is a bit of Commander and limited fodder in there, but for the most part, the heavy hitters are really ticking all the boxes, and I can't wait to see more spoilers. I just want more and more and more, and hopefully we'll know the whole set soon enough. So that's it from me. Just a quick rundown of the cards that have been spoiled so far. If there's a card that you want to see, then leave a comment below. If you enjoyed the video, then hit that like button. And if you want to see more content like this, then please do subscribe. Keep your eyes peeled for more spoilers. Thanks for watching and stay tuned for more.